Wait, what's happening? Why does it feel like something is holding me down? This isn't right. Nope, this can't be happening. I need to take it off. Something's wrong.
Once upon a time, a girl named Kizzy went to the village market to buy some clothes. It was almost Christmas, and her father had given her money to buy new clothes for the holiday. Excited, Kizzy hurried to the market. She decided to buy used clothes, as they were cheaper than the new ones in the stores. Kizzy arrived at one of the popular thrift sellers and began to look through the piles of clothes on sale. After a few minutes, Kizzy saw a beautiful dress that caught her eye. She put the dress aside and continued searching for other clothes she liked. Soon, another young woman grabbed the dress Kizzy had set aside and tried to pay for it. Realizing what had happened, Kizzy confronted the young woman, saying the dress was hers. But the young woman was determined to buy the dress, leading to an argument. The thrift seller intervened and gave the dress to the other woman, who offered to pay more for it. Furious, Kizzy left the thrift store and went home without buying any clothes. She was very angry and couldn't believe the unfairness of it all. She told her father everything, and he advised her that some things in life aren't worth getting upset about. He suggested she visit another shop instead. Despite her anger, Kizzy decided to follow her father's advice. A few days later, she went back to the village market, this time visiting another thrift vendor. To her amazement, she saw a dress that looked exactly like the one taken from her. Without hesitation, Kizzy paid for the dress and went home, extremely happy. When she tried on the dress, she was stunned by how beautiful it looked on her. The dress reminded her of her late mother, who had a similar one when she was alive. This memory moved Kizzy to tears as she hung the dress in her room. A few days before Christmas, Kizzy's father told her that her twin cousins would be coming to spend Christmas with them. Kizzy was thrilled, as she hadn't seen her cousins in a long time. The day of their arrival came, and Kizzy was delighted to reconnect with them. They spent the day laughing and talking, and soon it was night. Kizzy said good night to her cousins and went to her room to sleep. On Christmas Eve, Kizzy woke up in the middle of the night and found she couldn't move. It felt like something was holding her down, making it impossible for her to move. She struggled for hours until morning, when she finally felt free from the invisible weight. Terrified, she got up and went to talk to her father, but he wasn't in his room. Confused, Kizzy checked on her twin cousins, but they were also missing. Worried, Kizzy waited for them to return, but they didn't. On Christmas Day, she heard her neighbors celebrating and asked if anyone had seen her father. One neighbor said she saw Kizzy walking out of her hut with her father and cousins following her. Confused, Kizzy couldn't remember this happening. She returned to her room, trying to understand what her neighbor had said. She noticed strange muddy stains on her dress that weren't there before. Kizzy remembered the strange feeling she had during the night and realized something was wrong. Desperate for answers, she searched the village and came across an old woman who told her that the answers were in her home. The woman said the dress Kizzy bought was behind everything that was happening. Kizzy asked how this was possible, and the woman explained that the dress was possessed by a restless spirit that could control its owner. This explained why her neighbor saw her leaving with her family that night. Shocked, Kizzy asked the woman if she knew where her family was. The woman told her to wear the dress again to find the answers she needed. Kizzy thanked the old woman and returned home. She stared at the dress, afraid of what might happen if she wore it again. But the thought of her family in danger gave her courage. She put on the dress and immediately felt the spirit taking over her body. She found herself walking to an unknown place in the forest, aware of everything around her, but unable to control her movements. After walking for hours, Kizzy arrived at a large hut in the forest. She hoped to find her family inside, But the hut was empty and eerily quiet. She began to panic, trying to communicate with the spirit but failing. Feeling like a puppet, Kesey hoped she made the right choice by wearing the dress. The spirit seemed to be searching for something in the hut, moving Kesey from room to room. Unable to speak to the spirit, Kesey felt helpless. Eventually, the spirit took her out of the hut and began walking briskly to another destination. It was getting dark, and Kesey couldn't believe her Christmas was turning out so terribly. She pleaded with the spirit to take her to her family, but the spirit ignored her. They arrived at a second hut, and the spirit just stood there, staring at it. Kesey wondered why they were there, and tears began to pour down her face. Realizing the spirit was crying, Kesey tried singing a song her late mother used to sing to her when she was sad. The tears stopped, and Kesey heard a still voice asking where she learned the song. Surprised, Kesey told the spirit her late mother sang it to her. The spirit revealed that the song reminded her of her own late mother. Grateful the spirit was communicating, Kesey asked why she was crying. The spirit explained that the house in front of them was her home. She had met a woman who seemed nice, confided in her about her marital problems, and became friends with her. But the woman was actually a witch who invited her and wanted her life. The witch gave her a beautiful dress, which trapped her spirit when she wore it. The witch then took over her body and life. Thieves later stole the dress from the witch's home and sold it at the village market, where Kesey bought it. Kesey asked why the spirit couldn't approach the house, and the spirit said the witch put a spell around it, preventing her from getting close. On the night Kesey couldn't move, the spirit had taken over her body, but couldn't access her home because of the witch. Kesey's father and cousins saw her leave and followed, thinking it was Kesey. The witch, doing incantations outside, cast a spell on them, turning them into trees. They now stood at the corner of Kesey's home. The spirit told Kesey that if they could banish the witch, her spirit could return to her body and her family would be free. Kesey, unsure of what to do, decided they should go home and come up with a plan. Back home, Kesey took off the dress and began thinking. That night, she heard a drum playing outside. She saw the old woman from the village, who told Kesey she knew how to defeat the witch. She gave Kesey a drum and told her to beat it outside the witch's home, while wearing the dress to free the spirit. The old woman revealed she was the mother of the spirit trapped in the dress, and begged Kesey to help her daughter. Kesey thanked the woman and prepared to leave. It was almost midnight, but Kesey didn't care. She wore the dress, took the drum, and went to the witch's home. She began to beat the drum, and the sound echoed through the night. The witch emerged, furious, but Kesey continued drumming. The witch grew weaker with each beat, pleading with Kesey to stop and trying to cast spells, but nothing worked. The ground shook, the spell around the house shattered, and a bright light enveloped the witch, who disappeared into the drum. The spirit in the dress returned to her body, and Kesey's father and cousins transformed back into humans. They thanked Kesey for saving them. The spirit, now back in her body, thanked Kesey for saving her life. Kesey explained how her late mother helped, bringing tears to the spirit's eyes. The spirit returned to her family, and Kesey, happy to have her family back, burned the dress and drum to end the curse. The spirit visited Kesey's family with gifts to show her gratitude. They became friends, and Kesey learned an important lesson. Everything happens for a reason, and we should be careful about whom we confide in, as those close to us can sometimes harm us. Choose your friends wisely and be cautious with strangers. Thank you for watching. More interesting stories are on the way, so make sure to subscribe my channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. I would love to hear your thoughts in comments below.